Magandang araw, Podmates, and happy Pride Month! May special guest tayo ngayon na may kakaibang journey sa buhay bilang hindi lang miyembro ng LGBTQ community, kundi isang pioneer sa iba't ibang larangan. Si Angelina Mead King o Angie King. Magandang araw sa iyo, Angie, and happy Pride!
Happy Pride, Howie. Thanks for having me on the show.
One of the reasons that it's even more compelling than the usual than other trans stories is that you were married, no, at the time to a woman, and I'm sure many people are wondering, or might even be in a similar situation, diba? And wonder how you were able to manage it. At least from what many can see, you seem to handle it pretty well, no? So that, tell us how difficult that was. I'm sure it wasn't as easy as it appears, no?
Okay, backtrack. So even before Joey, I knew I was different. I knew that I needed to come clean to my next relationship, that I had an inkling for female things. So 3 months into dating Joey, I told her I liked women's underwear. I started there as a icebreaker. And because Joey's in the fashion industry, which is surrounded by trans women, it wasn't that hard for her to sort of be supportive, but it was sort of like our fun and games for a few years. We would travel, and I would dress up abroad, and then that was the thing. It came to the turning point when my dad got sick in Germany, and my dad was my health hero. He was the benchmark for staying healthy, looking young, and being super active at his age. And for me to see him fall sick and literally very ill, basically on the third day in Germany, I had to check him into ICU, put him in induced coma, and sign for his life. Ako yung guardian.
Wow.
So that sort of, caved in on me. And most trans stories, kasi when people come out, they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Diba? Caitlyn Jenner came out, I think, in her 50s na, late 50s. So seeing my dad, seeing how fragile life was, seeing how possibly short life could be, I didn't want to wait that long. I didn't want to have to suppress myself and live this double life now. Only when I'm traveling, I get to enjoy like this. So I basically made a decision. So when Joey visited me in Europe, I basically told her, na, I want to live like this. I want to come out and be myself. And that's when our relationship turned bad. So we went through 4 years of very rough times. She had her own counselors. I had my own counselors. We had group counselors. She would travel to other countries on her own. I would travel to the US on my own, just so that we can figure ourselves out. What brought us back together, or at least what kept us together, was this simple, it sounds simple, but obviously the execution is different. It's basically, I told her, babe, transition is not instant. Diba? Tomorrow, it's not like that. Tomorrow, I'll be that person. It's over years. It takes time. And if tomorrow you wake up and you still like what you see, then let's stay together. But if tomorrow you don't like what you see, then let's break it off na. Because it was getting toxic na. She wasn't getting what she wanted. I wasn't getting what I wanted. There was a lot of resentment already. She felt abandoned in that sense, that the person that she met is not there for her anymore. So a lot of these things were plaguing the relationship, and we took the fear out of the future and compressed it into the present. And that's why the mentality was, na, let's do day by day. And from there, we sort of regrounded why we like being together, why we sort of clicked on the first few dates that we had. We knew now we were going to be together because we were so alike in so many ways in terms of habits and values that I think within a month and a half, I asked Joey to move in with me already. So I knew it's like this girl's different. I really want to be with her already, and that's why I came clean early on. So, yun nga, during the rough moments, we sort of revisited what got us together in the first place, and that's how we got through or got over all our hardships. And obviously, when because the whole game plan, believe it or not, was if I come out and everything goes bad, I'll close all the businesses, move to the States, and start a new life. Yun yung plano, di ba? The backup plan. And then obviously the things happened, news picked it up. I got lots of love and support, and everything was okay. And it's like, we're still here in the Philippines. So weirdly enough, as a trans person, I think I've done more things for my personal life and for others because I'm now whole rather than me having to be two halves. So it's always like, oh, Angie's a car racer and she happens to be trans. Hindi yung I'm a transgender and I'm racing cars. So I guess in that sense also, people weren't so in your face with my coming out. So the acceptance was a little nicer. I always think that I need to represent the community in a positive light. So I always try to be very nice and educational. If I get chances to interviews like this, I gladly share a story because I feel na if it could help one or two other people, then it's a win already for me.
For those listening, what would you advise others who are thinking about the timing, this crucial aspect of their identity and their lives? What would be the best timing?
Well, obviously mahirap to give advice because all our situations are different, diba? But I mean, what really helped me was talagang don't lose hope. Because I thought before I met Joey na I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life. And no one's gonna understand me. Diba? The biggest fears, guilt, shame, fear, lahat, it was all there. And I felt hopeless na talaga na this is how I'm going to live and I'll be alone. So I guess my advice to people was, I mean, don't lose your dreams, but stay grounded in that sense. If you need support and you're not getting it from your family, there's always forums, there's always social media, there's other people out there who can give you support. And yes, don't be mad at your family if they can't get you or accept you because that's their programming, that's their upbringing, that's making them harang to embrace difference, embrace change. And sometimes because we have such strict upbringing from our parents, it sort of translates to our growing up and encoding. So it makes it hard for us to embrace new things. If you're surrounded with negative people, you won't grow. You won't become the best version of you.
Hi, I'm Howie Severino. Check out the Howie Severino Podcast, an original for GMA News and Public Affairs. New episodes will stream every Thursday. Listen for free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms.